Welcome and congrats! You have found the MMAC Minute Podcast, where Char, RN and owner, and Mallory, NP and Medical Director of Montana Medical Aesthetics Clinic, hence the MMAC, take a little dive into the world of aesthetics. Join us as we discuss hot topics and timeless truths. We will be your guides to navigating your own aesthetic journey. Are we in there?
Hi, Lisa.
Hello, everyone! Welcome!
Happy snow day.
Happy snow day. It is blizzarding a little bit out there, so we are coming to you live on our lunch hour, and we wanted to bring you episode 7 of the MMAC Minute with Char Mallory.
And today is February 15th.
It is.
The day we're filming, so usually this gets posted anywhere from 24 to 72 hours.
No, I usually try to do that in about a day.
Yeah.
So we're got some interesting topics for today. So stay tuned. We have some things to talk about at the end, and we have a special giveaway. So stay tuned for that. We're really excited to present that to you. Char, why don't you introduce our topic for today? But first, we have a favor to ask. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Allow the notifications, that little bell on there, that's what that's for, so you never miss an episode. Sometimes we post random things in there. We're making videos all the time. And leave us a comment.
Please share with a friend.
Share with a friend.
Yep.
We don't ask much, just all of those
Just all those things.
Okay, now it's your turn.
So one of the things we frequently hear from other healthcare providers is that mostly those who, work in the hospital and that kind of thing is just like, I really want to do this. What do you have to do this? Do you is there a special school?
Yeah.
Is there, how do you get into this? And we love this career, and we both spent years in the hospital working, so we know what that is like. And so we would like to help other people figure out how to do it in the safest, healthiest, most educated way. Because we truly believe that this is a field of medicine that is a field of medicine.
It is.
It is a growing field of medicine. It's actually the fastest growing field of medicine currently.
Is it?
And it needs to be thought of seriously and taken seriously. And I don't believe you can do this and become proficient and become really an expert in the field if you do this 1 day a week or 1.5 days a week, or try to do this on a very part-time basis from a weekend course that you may have taken or something online. I think this is it. There's a lot more that goes into it, but it is fun, and it is creative, and it changes all the time. And so it's not easy.
No.
And one of the things that people are just like, I'm just so burned out. And it's like, I get that. But if you think you're coming into this to help your burnout,
it's possible to get burnt out here too.
Even more.
Yeah.
I worked full time in the hospital. I was on flight call because I was an OB nurse. I was on department call. I worked and I was a labor nurse. I worked on the scheduler. I taught fetal monitoring classes. So I did a lot while I worked in the hospital.
What else did you do?
I have never worked more hours in a week than I do in this clinic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's kind of one of those things, if you're looking to have a solution to your burnout, you might need
the grass is not necessarily
fix your burnout first.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reasons that this is, and again, it's fun. It's great. It's creative, and I'm a knitter. I sew. I do leather work. I inject. So like all my favorite things involve a needle, in my life. So I do enjoy that creative thing.
Yes.
But anyway, it's good. We're kind of here to kind of lay it out for you a little bit. And just tell you things that we have found good and I don't want to say
so
bad,
good.
but
less good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be your aesthetic big sisters.
Come along for the ride. Here we go.
So we'll tell you kind of what you want. This really can be a job for life. And the reason that I left the hospital is I was tired. I was tired of being tired. I was tired of night shifts. I was tired of holidays. I was tired, I thought, of like 12-hour shifts. So all of those things that I was just like, yeah, this seemed, and this was 16 years ago, and this was a frontier then.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was the first non-physician injector in Billings in our little town. So, I mean, this was really kind of a really new thing. And so the changes I've seen are so incredible. But I was surprised by the amount of work it took. And at the time, we didn't have Instagram or Facebook or all these things that you could get some information from. There were very few resources, so I had to really, dig deep. There were computer things, but I remember my husband just like, Char, you've got to get off that computer and spend time with us, with your family, because I was just so absorbed into learning everything I could. And so even then, just beginning, it was like, oh, shoot, I'm no longer the expert.
Yes, you go from that
the new
expert to novice.
Yeah, I am the new kid on the block again. And
that's rough.
And when you, right.
So how long were you a labor nurse?
18 years.
Yeah, that's really hard to get that good at something and then to just start fresh again. It's like, you do need to put in that time.
And it's like, okay, I knew I had to get that 6 months. It's like, you got to get that 6 months. And then the next one is then at a year, I'll feel even better. Yes. And there's a lot into it.
Yeah.
But.
So tell us how you did get into it. Like, how did that journey go?
Well, I had known, there was a gal that I had known when she was a resident physician, and she was in having some life changes and interested in purchasing a clinic in town from some physicians and their wives who had owned it. And so she asked me to become a part of it. And I met with her, and it was like, this feels right. Good. This feels good. And so I was really very lucky because really, there wasn't much known at the time, and there wasn't anything out there, or very few. So it really was
early adopter.
Yeah. But so I was really lucky that she did that. That she saw that in me, And so, but like I said, there wasn't much education out there, and it makes me kind of gulp when I think about what we used to not know.
Yeah.
What we used to not know.
Really?
Oh.
Well, think about how much we learn just in any field in 16 years,
Right.
They call it practicing medicine for a reason. It's, you learn along the way, and you can share with other people. We have a lot more opportunities to share with other people now. So that's why we're here.
So it's going to maybe sound a little bit negative, what we're going to be sharing. And it's not meant to, it's just
more realistic, maybe.
More realistic things to think about.
Yeah. Consider.
I've almost been doing this for 16 years. If this was all negative, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
It's not. It's so many positive things, and the relationships you build with people and that kind of thing. It is so wonderful. But it's kind of good to know the things to expect when
the stuff you don't see on Instagram.
Stuff you don't see on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, it's not a cure for burnout. There's many, many hard aspects of this to begin with, and we just kind of touched on that. The first 6 months, it's like, oh my goodness, and so much is available now on social media that people have access to a lot of information and a lot of things.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. Right. It will shake your confidence to its core. It takes a long time for you to, and just being able to read people, anticipate, set expectations, know what you're capable of, learning to read skin. It takes a long time. And it's like 6 months before you're kind of like, oh, I kind of feel like I have a grasp on this. And another 6 months where you think, I think I really am going to like this.
I can tell you how I got into it.
Oh, yeah.
Pure, I guess I shouldn't say pure accident, but it was no intentional thing on my part either. So I had worked as an ER nurse for a few years, and I started working with an internal medicine doctor. And so I had done some clinical hours with him and got to know his clinic and his staff, and he's a great guy, and we had a great time working together. So he was like, I'd like to offer you a position when you graduate. And I'm like, yes, I love this. It was so different from ER. I say that nobody spit on me, like nobody screaming profanities at me at the top of their lungs. I'm like, well, this is a little less exciting, but kind of in a good way, right? Again, I wasn't working at that point any like weekends or holidays, and I was like, oh, this is a life I've been missing out here, thinking like ER is the be all end all. It was super fun, and I made a lot of lasting friendships. So when I switched over internal medicine, this doc was like, oh, I bought a laser machine. We're going to start doing aesthetics. And I was like,
We are?
I don't think that was in my contract. I didn't sign up for this, and I don't know how I feel about that. Ended up loving it. We added on Botox, and then we added on fillers. And the difficult part for me was that I was doing internal medicine most of the time and doing aesthetics like on the side. That was really difficult. You get so busy doing the rest of it, and then you get there in the room and you're like, okay, I need to review these things in my head. It's been a week since I've done it. You're still so new at it that it was just like, I would stress myself out. I would be like studying diagrams and like reviewing all this stuff and going like, okay, how many units do I do here? Before you look at anybody's face, and just all of the checkpoints and all of the things. What if they ask me for a filler today? Like, I'm not prepared to do that. All of those things when you first start out, it's a lot. It reminded me of being a new grad in the ER. You get like, there's just everything. You can't possibly know everything. So you have to know where to find answers. You have to know what you don't know, and safety first, good results is a close second, right? Yeah. So that's where I stayed. I stayed so conservative for so long. Like, I don't even remember. I probably would start with like 6 units in people's glabella because I was just like so terrified. I would just like, they're like, I don't think it's working. I'm like, give it 2 weeks and come back and see me. And it was just like, I was so terrified, of anything going wrong. So I really, because of that, and because I just took a very stepwise approach, since I knew I couldn't do it, 5 to 7 days a week, I just started so slow. And I have to say, once I got to do full aesthetics full time, it was like a door opened. I got to feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident. And that's where you really do start to take those strides, those leaps ahead. So that was huge for me. So anyway, fell into that, and there's no looking back. I left internal med by the wayside because, as much as rewarding as that could be, it is a lot of work also. And I did get burnt out there, just because you don't get a lot of positive feedback. And that is one thing that I will say is very positive about this. You're going to get all kinds of feedback, believe me. But you can choose to listen to some things and take some constructive criticism, but also it's really rewarding to see the change that you can make in people, how they feel about themselves. Yeah. So that is one huge positive that I really love about what we do.
Absolutely. So, it's just that everybody has a story.
Yeah.
It's really kind of interesting. Yeah. Well, one of the things is, we both knew how to be nurses. And we knew that well, in the traditional sense, hospital, clinic, whatever, is completely different.
Yeah.
And very few of our quote unquote nursing skills.
They don't all transfer, right?
They don't all transfer. Yeah, because this is a completely different field. It's in school, I don't know about you, but we got general anatomy and physiology, but I didn't
a lot from here,
right?
Like
I didn't get a full extensive breakdown
facial
of the face.
Anatomy.
No. So that was something to completely learn. And when I first started, I was just like, what is wrong with me? How come I don't remember this? And it's like, because you didn't learn it. No. We didn't get that. For most people, hospital pay, no matter where you are, is going to be, for nursing, and there's always shift differentials and holiday pay and overtime pay.
Pretty stable.
and stable and pretty good,
Yeah,
you know? And so when you leave a hospital situation,
start over there too.
There's a pay cut. Expect a pay cut. And especially if you're going into a clinic and you have no experience or you've taken a couple courses, but that's
they're going to have to teach you.
And they have to teach you and they have to mentor you. And you need to build relationships with people that want to keep coming back to you.
Yes.
It's
building your clientele.
It's not, I think, realistic to think that you're going to be making the same money that you made
as a well-paid RN or something.
Especially probably, you know, because you've probably worked in the hospital for a long time. You've built up some seniority. And so that is another thing. You just kind of have to take a big gulp and just reconcile and know that that's part of what's going to suck for a little bit. Yeah, but it is well worth it. You just have to reconcile it.
If you really want it and you stick with it, just like anything else, you know, if you decide that you're meant to do it, or if someone else decides for you that you're meant to do it, and then it clicks for you, you know.
Well, and I remember, you know, when I was in labor and delivery, most of the time we were still doing paper charting. Towards the end of the last several years that I worked there, we've gone to computer charting, but still, it was always like behind in charting. And it was kind of like, oh my God, if I get out of the hospital, I'll never be behind in charting again. I literally just said to Marisa before we did this, our office manager, I'm just like, I have charted on one patient. I said, I am so behind in my charting. And that is a typical thing. You are just,
because you're going from one room to the next.
You are lucky enough to be busy. And we
are. Good
are.
problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but you are going from patient to patient, room to room, and you are not charting.
That can be hard.
The end of the day, or the or fitting it in.
Because you got to take notes. You got to keep your brain. There you go. There's one skill transferred. Keeping your brain, keep your notes so you can chart later and remember everything. But that's one thing I had to get used to in the hospital on the floor. You're like running around like a chicken with your head cut off, but you're accomplishing things, and it's sometimes a lot simpler charting, sometimes very much more straightforward, right? And you can take your computer with you and just do all the things while you're talking to your patients, you're scanning your meds as you're giving them, so all of that part is done. So you can get to the end of the day today and be like, oh my gosh, a lot of it is very comprehensive charting. There's not a simple scan and do all the rest. Dosing is different, you know, there's not
no standardization.
No,
really.
Not exactly. You know,
and a large part of what we do is education. Like we've kind of hit on, aesthetic field or industry is changing a lot. Like every couple weeks. I mean, new things are coming out.
Seriously,
it is one of the fastest growing fields of medicine. So, and it is education every single day.
Multiple times a day, usually.
You know, and it's kind of like when you start off, you've entered a little dilapidated shack, and you're gotta build it and remodel it and try to get it into a nice little condo that you want to live in. You know, you're building, and because your hospital job and clinic job could have been. I mean, I know we don't always just turn the key and walk away, right? You still think and process things. But in aesthetics, I mean, it's not uncommon for clients to have your cell number. They'll call you, they'll text you at all hours, every day of the week. I mean, that's a pretty standard thing, accessibility to you, where that you could turn that off. Especially when you work.
Your clinic owner.
It's definitely accessibility, and that's part of what I like too. I mean, people do trust you and call you and talk to you. But they do have accessibility to you.
Sure.
There's a lot of other things like we now have social media influences we talked about, different
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse. But even for us, like with social media, we're always thinking about social media. It is the bane of my existence. Oh my God! But you have to do it.
You do.
You have to always be thinking of social media. It's just part of it.
Yes.
Responding, like we said, responding to clients, responding by email, responding by text message, responding by Instagram.
You would not believe the number of different avenues we get messages from.
Website.
Yes. Which is great. Again, a good problem to have, but it's got to be all managed.
Yeah, one of the funniest, I think one of the things that is interesting and is that people feel very free to offer their opinion about what you should prescribe for them, meaning dosing on different products and stuff. And it's so that makes it very difficult for this field of medicine to really be recognized as
a specialty of medicine.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, for example, like, oh, so-and-so, my friend gets this much, Botox or Dysport here. I want to do that. Well, maybe your muscle structure is different. Maybe,
and I don't know
ABC.
Your friend, so I can't determine whether,
Right. Or laser settings, your BB, all kinds of things that, like Char was saying, we have developed over time why we would do a certain amount in a certain place. All of that dosing, really, that's what it is. And to avoid certain complications or to sidestep certain things, or as we're learning your skin, we might do something in a different way. So that, and it should be a discussion by all means. Give your input and I'll give mine, and we'll come up with something together that we both feel comfortable with, as long as it's reasonable, but I don't think we should expect to be persuaded or dissuaded a certain way, because that is something that we have to take into consideration. It is dosing a medication. Yeah,
I always
interesting point.
I'm always like, if you go in and you get diagnosed with strep throat, you don't get to say, well, I'm going to just negotiate the dose.
I would like this much amoxicillin, please, this many milligrams, and I'm going to take it this many times a day. Yeah, true.
I guess probably people have free choice to take whatever meds they want to when they're prescribed, but
they do. But but again, going back to, it's not a set standard like it is for medicine. It's like by your weight, this many, milligrams per kilogram. That's pretty standard. There's a little bit of leeway there, not much. And there's a lot, taking your goals, your concerns into consideration of your anatomy.
It is an out-of-pocket expense. There, you do have to, that does have to be considered. Absolutely. And that does have to be a conversation.
Very practical in that sense.
And then there's the problem of what we used to believe to be true 15 years ago, we now know is not. What we believed to be true 2 years ago, we have now learned is a little bit different. It is changing all the time. I will tell you that I can change my injection technique every couple weeks. I can learn something new. We have learned there's great anatomists I follow. There are, I was telling Mallory, I'm a journal junkie.
Yes, I came in this morning, I have 3 on my desk.
Read these, they're important. But I'm always looking
in addition to the other things that we were already talking about.
And then do these other, finish these
social media.
And do your social media. And please do the videos for the website. Yes. And you have patience?
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so that's today was a great example.
Yep, yeah, totally.
And so, and sometimes in the way that we used to believe certain products to work that we now know are different.
Yes, or how long they last.
Or what is the normal course of events. And so a lot of that changes, and that can lead to a little bit of, I don't know, suspicion, or from people.
I was going to say like dissonance, like a disconnect, or
well, that's not what you told me last time, or that's not what we used to. And it's like, I know, but the newest thing we know is.
And the good part about that is we're getting more research in this field, right?
Right.
So that's good.
That's good.
It just means that information is coming at us a lot faster, again, which is great. We'll take it all. But and we'll share it with you guys. And
and a lot of times people are like, it just looks so fun, and it is fun. And again, the relationships and
getting to do your pro fractionals together, that'll bond you.
But there are bad things that can happen. And Botox, I mean, really, what's going to happen? You're going to drop a brow. You're going to give a ptosis.
Which we don't want to do.
We don't want to do, but they're not
that.
life-changing.
Right.
They're not life-altering. Every Botox is always going to go away. But when you're talking about filler, I mean, and again, people see a little thing in social media or they read a little headline of an article, and without looking at the article, and they think they can do certain things. I mean, I always tell people, I have to believe that every place I want to put filler is a danger zone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what keeps me safe and keeps you safe.
A healthy fear.
And a healthy fear.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody getting filler should have it also.
Yes.
But I mean, there are bad things that can happen with filler. You can cause somebody to go blind.
Yeah.
You can get
Which
huge
is why,
necrosis.
if we've told you, sorry, we don't do filler in that area, that is why. Because
that is why.
Again, safety first.
Yeah.
You know.
And we will do that here. Other people may have more comfort in certain areas than we do, and that's fine. And we just, I don't sleep that well at night anymore anyway, and I don't
think about things like that.
Stay up thinking about it. My parting words to people are often, everything looks great. There is nothing I see that will keep me up tonight.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
And that is the most.
That's why I stay away from those danger areas.
Right.
I just, I don't want to be thinking about you until.
Yeah. So the bottom line is invest in yourself.
Yes.
In getting training, and get more training than you think you need, and look at all resources. There are really good people to look at on and to watch on Instagram and in some things on Facebook. There's just really great resources. Really great education. I will take every educational opportunity I can get.
Yeah.
And often it's just like, this is great. This was all review. This is all familiar.
Yeah.
I love it. It just meant we're on the right track.
Sure.
But there are, with very, very few exceptions, if ever, have I not learned at least one new thing.
Yep. One little thing they'll just throw in. It's like, oh yeah.
Yep. Or something I could have heard repeatedly and it never clicked. And it's like, oh, that's what that meant.
Or something that you come across since the last time you heard it, or any of those things. Yeah.
The thing, usually when you start out, it's like being a new person into any job. You might work the shifts that other people have grown out of. You might work in the evenings, you might work some weekends.
Sure.
That kind of thing. You're going to put in at home, out of work hours on education. That's just, it's an expectation. Yep. You might have to do social events. There will be things that you need to do, and it's just the way it is to build.
Yeah.
For most people, I would say, if you want to be good,
and you should.
And
please
network. Go to these things locally. Go stop in, see, meet the injectors, meet the management, talk to them, see what they're, if they're going to be looking for any new employees or new injectors, new laser people in the future. Find out what they have to say. Put your name out there. Make it known that you're interested. They can, almost all of us will help you find where to get some information.
Sure.
Because the bottom line is, I think you feel the same way, but I want the people in my community to be safe and to be educated and to be on top of their game, because that gives this whole entire field more credibility. I don't want you going into it without the proper education. No. I don't want you to start doing this if you don't know what it takes and you're not willing to put in the time, because I want this to have credibility and reliability and standardization, because that is validity and respect.
It's better for our clients. I still think of you all as my patients. That's kind of a nursing mindset, I think, right? Like, we have nurses advocate for their patients, and that's something that we do. Safety first. That's just always the big thing. I really want you to look great. I want you to feel really good about yourself, and I want to be 1,000% safe. And then, I like educating too. So it's a fun gig.
I really love educating.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I went to nursing school thinking I was going to do the teaching route, because I really was excited by that. Like, there's something so motivating about getting people to the point where they're like, oh, I understand now why you do that way, or,
it's kind of funny because sometimes, like yesterday, I had a couple consultations, and I'm just like, okay, there are so many rabbit holes I can go down here.
I know.
And please stop me if I mean, I can be all over the place. It's just like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And go way down deep. And, it's just, it's fun.
It's exciting.
We love it.
It is. And you have to have that passion for it if you're going to do well.
Yeah.
So,
You have to educate people, in my opinion.
Yes.
It is their face. It is their money. It is
They're
medication.
trusting you with their face and their bodies. And
it's
we
medication.
don't take that for granted.
It's laser injuries. Anyway, we love it. It's fun. It's exciting. It's creative. It's a lot of work. Do get a little puckered from time to time.
That's a good way to put it.
Do take it home with you from time to time, or a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's okay.
The relationships are wonderful.
They
Helping
are.
people feel better is wonderful.
Yeah.
Everything about it. And really, as you grow and you establish your clientele or your patients, and you develop those relationships, really your hours are more work-life balance.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It's worth it. But it doesn't start out that way. You just have to know that. If you're going to be any good, and we want you to be good,
put your head down and grind through the tough parts.
And educate.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So let us know if you guys are interested in learning more, if you would like more educational type videos about injecting itself or any kind of procedures that we do. It's something that Char and I have talked about that, she's a wealth of knowledge. She's been doing this for a really long time. And so let me know if you agree with me that she should be doing some more teaching with that expertise. We'd love to hear that.
We're considering. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about this week's obsession.
So we have, I don't know if many of you know or whatever, we have our own, we've talked about it before a little bit, our own self-labeled skincare line. We have a few products. We don't have a lot.
Check the boxes of the main things.
Right. We have a cleanser and a moisturizer and some specialty ones. And I have used this face fix before.
Put it up
Okay. And I thought I really liked it, but then I thought I'm going to go back to this, other one that I used before. That's another line we carry that is wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
And I liked it, but then it was so funny how I just had several people say to me, my clients, my patients, and I'm using your face fix and I really like that. And I'm like, well, why am I not using that face fix again?
What? That's a great idea.
And
Thanks for your recommendation.
I started using it again and I'm like, I love this so much.
That is so funny. I had the exact same experience.
I don't know
why I stopped using it.
I don't either. I just thought,
I just like to know everything that we have, right?
So I went back to the other one and I'm just like, this one is it has so many great things. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It has copper in it, which is really healing. Hyaluronic acid is moisturizing. It has some lipids in it. It absorbs quickly into the skin, which I love. So it doesn't make you feel greasy. Right. And I love, anyway, so that's my little.
Remind me to charge me for that later. All right. That's really funny because I just ran out of it and I was thinking the same thing.
That is so funny.
Okay. I'm going to do my personal one now. So when you said something earlier, it struck a chord with me that, we need to invest in ourselves. What better investment can you make than investing in yourself? Nothing. So I'm announcing it. You're hearing it here. 2024 is my year. It is the year of me. It is my year. So I just had my birthday. Thank you. Take it. So I just had my birthday, 37. I have to do math now because I don't remember, which is fine. It's just a number, right? We're in a good field to not have to worry about that number. So,
that's right.
Anyway, but since the beginning of the year, I have been working on several things. I feel like, my husband and I are always on a journey to self-improvement. And so we join these groups that are a men's group and a women's group that really are just pushing us. We're in month 2 and they are just pushing us.
That's crazy.
Mentally, emotionally, physically, we're doing challenges. We're doing all kinds of stuff. And it's just like, how can you find time for all of these things? I don't know, but if it's a priority, you do.
Yeah.
And when you have good accountability, when you have like some guidance to just kind of just shove you a little bit, it's working great. And I feel I feel happier already. I feel like my communication with my family has been better. So it's already paid off. I feel like I've already gotten my money's worth, and I am meeting new women. We are supporting each other. It's just like a good feeling. So I am currently doing the push-up challenge. So if you drive by, or I'm doing push-ups in the lobby. I was doing that the other day. So you just make time where you can.
That's right. Drop it.
Yep. So that's one of the things.
Funny. That's funny because I saw Joelle doing walking lunges down the hall the other. I'm like, what are you doing?
I told her she had to do them on the way to take her pictures back. So if we're just doing some weird things around here, it's all
That's good.
we're just investing in ourselves. Good. So you could do the same. Invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. That is the best investment you can make. Do something nice for yourself this year. Pick a big goal. Pick something big that makes you pucker. Go for it. Just go for it and do it. You can do it. We're here to support you. If there's anything that, if you want to reach out to me or Char on our social media, or, leave a message for us and tell us what you're doing, we will support you. If it is a good, healthy goal, we are here for you. We love women-run businesses. We love women supporting women, and sometimes we don't do enough of that in this world, right? So we're here for you. We'd love to hear what you guys are doing this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, what's your work? Oh, you give.
I did. Yeah.
Wait,
I gave my. No, I didn't do. My personal one this year is being okay to take a little time away. A little time away every once in a while, and not feel like
guilty.
Yes. The world's going to come crashing down, and everybody's going to judge me.
No. You got to take care
of
yourself.
I've earned it.
You have. If anybody,
I work hard when I'm here, and I work, so
good for you.
And I've done that for a lot of years. So I'm like, I'm gonna.
Good for you. We'll take care of everybody.
Thanks.
We got this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can only do that if I know people are being taken care of. So
thanks.
That's good.
All right. Now that I'm blushing and crying a little bit, so my work one is actually a procedure called jawline defense. God, it's so good. Okay, so this is a combination. So if you want that sleek, chiseled jawline that looks so nice and sculpted and just defined, we have a procedure called jawline defense. It is a combination of Ultherapy and our liposilhouette, so our fat melting, if you will. So we're going to target an area, usually like the jowls or the submentum under here, and or a little bit of both, and we hit that with the Ultherapy. So that's a deep ultrasound waves and heat. We're targeting little points along and stimulating a bunch of collagen in there. So that's kind of like the slow burn. It's working, it's doing its thing, for a few months. And then it's like, oh yeah, that feels kind of nice. Oh yeah. In the meantime, we're going to inject some special sauce. And that just gets in there and beats the crap out of your fat cells. And then they just kind of go away for good. And so you can really get more definition along that jawline there. So, that's a common area that people will tell us about. So if you have questions about that, let us know, because, it's best if we find a candidate that is right for that. There are some things that we would consider about whether that is the perfect thing for you, or one or the other might be a better option, something like that. But it's a great combination therapy for the right client who needs a little tightening, a little shrinkage of those fat pads. It can be so amazing. Make you look like you lost weight already. Check that off your list for you.
And then after that, there are ways to, if you want to leave in a little more definition, and then several months down the road, then we can talk about placement of neurotoxin along there to further define, maybe some filler. There's a lot of things that threads. There are a lot of other things that can add to that. Yeah. So, and jawlines are the new cheek.
Oh, yes.
So
good, sexy jawline.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Oh,
wait, no, we have something special.
Yeah. This is what you waited for.
Over 39 minutes for. Okay. So we're having a giveaway contest, and what are we giving away?
Well, you tell it. Okay. Botox.
We're giving away 10 units of Botox.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how.
See what happens when I put her on the spot sometimes?
I'd already gone on to the next thing.
She's done.
But the reason is we're trying to build our
YouTube
following.
Yes.
So we're bribing you. We're buying it.
Yeah. I'm not ashamed. of that. Okay, so here's how you win this contest. First of all, You get a point for liking the video, 1 for subscribing, 1 for allowing the notifications, ring that little bell. And then here's where the money comes in. Share it with your friends. So for every friend that you share it with, you can get a point. And then if they subscribe, you also get a point. Mm-hmm. So whoever wins with the most points wins the free Botox. There's a deadline. Pay attention. The deadline is Wednesday, March 6th at midnight. So that gives us time to pick our winner and
gives you time to watch the video.
Gives you time to make some friends that you can share with them.
There you go.
And just go to coffee shops, make up some business cards.
That's right.
Whatever you got to do.
Like this YouTube channel.
I need some Botox. Be my friend. Like this video. Subscribe. Share. You know the drill. So the cutoff will be Wednesday, March 6th at midnight so that we can pick a winner and announce it for our next podcast. So that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for staying tuned in. We appreciate you guys. We'd love to know any questions, comments, any feedback. And if you're interested in becoming an injector or anything, let us know what questions you have.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.